fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
It's time to get ready for our 5th annual Stock Up event on March 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2. Don't miss out on these exclusive savings, raffles, and Fisherman Source giveaways. We'll be featuring several local vendors, pro staff members, and most importantly, free food. Can't wait to see you guys there.
You know, for the past month or so, I've been using an image to start every week with a numeric reference to the number of days left until the outback striper season reopens in the Garden State on March 1st. Of course, winter flounder opens that same day, and that's 15 days. And God's honest truth, I couldn't come up with a number 15 that was any more relevant this week than the Kansas City crybaby in chief himself. I know, it's too soon for all of us if you're a 49ers fan. Giants, Jets, Eagles, Bills, Steelers, Ravens, it doesn't matter. Commanders, Ray, Carrico, sorry. It's all the same. It is what it is. I'm Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. It's February 15th and 15 days until outback striper season reopens in the Garden State. By all accounts, from everything that I'm hearing from everybody, the Back Bay, salty rivers, creeks, canals, and lagoons are stacked with striped bass. Reports out of the Toms River, for example, indicate that it's tough even getting a bloodworm to a white perch right now with all those stripers stacked up. And the same can be said up along the Hackensack, areas of the Raritan, the Mullica, the Great Egg, down into Fortescue Creek as well. It is going on, and you're not supposed to, right? Outback striper season doesn't open. You're not allowed to target them until March 1st. And the folks putting out the bloodworms for white perch can't get through the striped bass. Or as Neil Young sang, it's better to burn out than to fade away. What does that have to do with it? Think about the next lines of the song. Somewhere in the lines of the song, you've got your answer in a particular stretch of good striper fishing or white perch fishing. But it will be good striper fishing come March 1st. I know the Haynes boys have been there. Hey, my. They have been there catching white perch, getting through the striped bass. Now, along the front beaches, out of the inlets, there are a few boats still pressing east this month for cod, for blackfish, which continues until the end of February. Not much in terms of ling, but the boats that are going out, like the Big Jamaica and the Paramount, they're looking for ling, they're looking for cod, they're looking for pollock, whatever else is snapping out there as well. We mentioned Smokin' Reels Charters. I'm pretty sure he was still trying to put together some open boat trips out of the Shark River. And in our reports over the weekend at thefisherman.com, calling around to talk to various shops, a lot of holdover trout during this mostly mild winter so far offers a tremendous opportunity for folks looking to wet a line and put a bend in the rod. But this weekend, heading into President's Day weekend, the big question is, in addition to going to your favorite tackle shop or outfitter, getting everything geared up, what is the best winter show for you? Boat show, pure fishing show, or surf show? Well, this week it could be a tough choice. Unless you're like us here at the Fisherman magazine, we're going to be at all of them, all three of them. Let's spend some time talking today about the weekend events, because it's a big weekend in the Pennsylvania and New Jersey area, and with seminar lineups, especially here in Edison and out in Oaks, PA. I am here in Edison. It's Thursday, and we're finishing off the setup for the New Jersey Boat Sale and Expo here at the Convention Center, Sunfield Avenue in Edison. This is where all the big events are. This is where the Saltwater Expo is next week. But this weekend, it's the boat show. And it opens today, I believe, 11 a.m. or noon. All I know is the seminars are presented by the Fisherman magazine today through Sunday. And I'm kicking it off Thursday the 15th, 2 p.m. We're going to talk about striped bass. Nick Honicheski comes on right after me, 3:30, and then he's going to be hanging out in the booth with us all day long. Aaron Held comes on for the final seminar on Thursday afternoon. If you've been thinking about getting a Minn Kota installed on your boat, come see this seminar. Aaron's going to talk about what you need to know, how to choose the right trolling motor, and what goes into the actual install. Aaron actually kicks it off again on Friday at 2 o'clock. Joe Petone, Captain Joe Petone of Near Fall Charters, he's offering up some blackfish tips at 3:30. And our own Jenny Ackerman, She's got a doormat fluke tip. She's got that on Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. It's like happy hour. Have happy hour with Jenny. Saturday, of course, is always a big day here in Edison with a big show lineup. We've got Joe Mattioli talking about light tackle, Rare Bay, New York bite, 11 a.m. Captain Brian Rice at noon. He's going to talk about jumbo stripers, talk to him about the Manny method. We've got blackfish tips with the Zagorski boys at 1:30, followed by Captain Dan Bias at 3 p.m. talking fluke, and then Captain Mike Century wraps it up Saturday afternoon with a look at bluefin tuna. I remember his seminar was really popular last year, and everybody kept him around afterwards to ask questions, so you might want to do that. Sunday, we kick it off again with Captain Rich Falcone of the Golden Eagle at 11 a.m. The Bunker, Box, and Crunch Sport Fishing Crew and the Raritan Bay, New York Bite, Staten Island Bonanza of Fishing. That's on right after at noon, and then Jenny is back in the Fluke Zone Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. You can get discounted tickets for this show, the New Jersey Boat Sale and Expo, where we'll be all weekend long, by going over to jerseyboatexpo.com. Now, Nick and I on Thursday, after we're done, we're driving out to Oaks, PA to set up the Philadelphia Fishing Show, which runs Friday through Sunday. Doors open Friday, February 16th at noon. Nick's got a seminar there on Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. And then check this out. Take a look at this scroll. These are the seminars that we put together at the Fisherman magazine for the Philadelphia Fishing Show. 3 different rooms across 3 days, 45 different seminars, a dedicated workshop just for freshwater fishing. Plus, we've got 2 rooms full of saltwater tactical presentations. Inshore, offshore, surf, everything that you can imagine. It's all this Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Philadelphia Fishing Show in Oaks, PA. My good friend George Schauer, the Pocono Outdoors guy, he's going to be sitting in the booth with me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well, while I'm running back and forth between the booth and the show floor. 100% fishing show, salt and fresh, Friday through Sunday at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, PA. Get all the details, including the full seminar lineup at phillyfishingshow.com. Of course, wherever we are this weekend, you'll pick up the February edition of the Fisherman magazine. Just like the knife guy says, the Ginsu knife guy, the Ronco guys. But wait, there's more, because in between days, Friday and Saturday, we're also going to be out at Lincroft for Surf Day. That's where Jenny Ackerman's going to be. She's going to be giving away those magazines. We've got those special deals. You can stop in, get one of the Tsunami 4-inch poppers, the iPop poppers, with your new or renewing subscription. If you do 2 years, we'll also throw in a Fish Bites Fight Club. We've got a limited supply. Also, when you're signing up at most of these shows too, you're also going to be in a drawing for some goodies from Sterling Tackle. Could be a choice of one of the wide trackers or one of their trolling spreads, and of course you get one of the lovely sweatshirts as well. That's going to happen here in Edison, out at Oaks, and of course come see Jenny over at Surf Day. A great selection of seminars, by the way, at Surf Day. We didn't put these together, but the Jersey Shore Surfcasters did. It's a great lineup. Billy Wetzel, Frank Gonsalves. Look for that Nick Konacheski guy. He's running from Oaks back to Surf Day on Saturday. The Fisherman's Dave Anderson. He's in town. Matt Risser, Comanche Surf. John Skinner up from Florida for this event. Ross Summers and Crazy Alberto. Do not put the fish bites anywhere near Alberto's mouth. It'll be gone. Again, look for Jenny at the Fisherman table there in Lincroft on Saturday. Now, that February edition of the Fisherman magazine, as I mentioned, will be distributed at all of the shows inside that February edition, where you get your free copy this weekend. You'll find Dave Anderson's piece on plug building. Matt Broderick has a special presentation in there on building an inshore fluke rod. All kinds of great stuff. And there's one rod builder in particular that I know who's also working on a couple of articles for the Fisherman magazine. I already talked about her, Jenny Ackerman. Well, this week she has some tips and tricks and tactics for rod builders in her open boat feature. Whether you're new to rod building or you're a seasoned professional, marbling is an excellent technique that Jenny goes through in a little bit more detail in her rod building segment this week, exclusively at the Fisherman magazine.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat Today, I wanted to show you guys something pretty special and cool. It's a little behind the scenes work for some winter projects that I do. So I don't know if you know this, but I build my own rods. I love building custom rods. It's a lot of fun. The science behind it and everything, guide alignments, math for figuring out where the guides are gonna go, and doing decorative wraps. I love doing closed decorative wraps, but I wanted to take the time to show you something specific I'm doing for this white rod right here. I call it the koi fish rod because I was gifted custom koi fish grips. So what I wanted to do, I was struggling to find a decorative wrap that would look nice in this back area, and I am doing marbling now to it. Marbling is a good beginner's decorative wrap for people just getting into rod building and they don't want to deep dive into closed decorative wraps like I did. So my marbling is a little bit different compared to how traditional marbling rod builders do it. Mine's more abstract. So what I did was basically I want to match the scale seen on the koi fish grips to match it onto that piece so it looks like one big koi fish. So I'm going to go through like just the quick steps of how to marble your rod. So to start, you can order your marbling kits on Mudhole, and they come with a ton of different colors and a very informative instruction sheet on how to marble. So to start, you take your epoxy, you mix per ratio for 2 minutes, and then you're going to spread that epoxy on the area of the rod blank where you are going to be marbling. Following that, you take the leftover epoxy, a couple nickel sizes of it, and mix in that color pigment, like I did orange for mine. Once that's been mixed, you move back to the rod that's spinning on the drying rack to keep that epoxy even. And if you were doing normal marbling, you would want to have that rod spinning the whole time. But for mine, I had to slow it down to blot down those little paint spots of the orange mix. And then you can do another coat of epoxy on top of that and put more on top. What's cool with regular marbling is like you can put as many colors down as you want and literally like take a toothpick and manipulate the paint and create these cool, interesting patterns. But it's really cool to showcase some little funky flares to your own custom rods. So definitely look into marbling, look into decorative wraps, and see what you can do to spice up your next custom build.
When it's time for family fun and memories, just add water. Head to the New Jersey Boat Sale Expo, February 15th through 18th at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center in Edison. For tickets, visit jerseyboatexpo.com.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
So in doing the fishing reports for the Fisherman.com, making calls on Monday, I spoke to Jason at Fisherman Supply in Point. He said it was a real busy weekend. Guys coming in to gear up, spool up, hearing the same thing from Frankie at Grumpy's and John through the reel seat, the guys at Fish Heads, all the guys behind the counter. Everybody is busy spooling lines, fixing up reels. There's so much going on. But back to Jason, he said outside of that, there's not much happening, right? Picky blackfish bite, some of the boats are sailing. The one thing that Jason had in between selling lots of tackle over the weekend, he said freshwater options were fantastic, even at some of the local lakes and rivers. Think upper stretches of the Manasquan. Maybe you want to throw some Phoebes around at Spring Lake or out at Lake Shenandoah, something like that. There are some options out there. In fact, even though it's hard to get the salty creatures over to enjoy the freshwater fishing, Daryl Gafrida, the creature from Mushin, he did. He's been out in the streams as well. Well worth the effort, maybe even some walleye. For more on that, let's head out to the Poconos, check in with my buddy George, the Pocono Outdoors guy, with your Sweetwater rundown.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. You know, Mother Nature's given us a really big burst of wintertime here for the next couple of days, but I think we're working through it. You know, that big snowfall we had earlier in the week, and that's going to get through really quickly. You know, temperatures are going to warm up starting next week, so we'll get back into that warmer weather and hopefully back into some of this fishing that we've been enjoying over the past week. You know, we had a bunch of folks check in right before the storm. We had John Oast check in Up on the Susquehanna, well, he's getting into some of these monster walleye, and you can't blame these guys out there for trying. Not just great for the table, just great on the line if you manage to get them in the boat. Also on the Susquehanna, we have my friend Nick Canester check in. He's down there just hammering these smallmouth with a Susky. He's actually using A-rigs and lots of baits like that that'll get these big, giant smallmouth onto his boat. Now, also, if we look onto the Delaware, we've had Tim Keebler. Well, he checked in for some walleye as well. So lots of guys are out there hammering these big walleyes this time of year. Good time of year for it. There's lots of other fishing, guys. You've got a couple days left in the extended trout season before things close down. They're continuing to stock these waters, the creeks, the lakes. So we'll have lots of fishing in the coming months. But I hope you guys are out getting on them through this cold wave. Get out, send us those pics, and we'll see you next time. But from Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Alabama angler Rustin Musgrove was chasing drum last month near Orange Beach, Alabama on the Gulf of Mexico, ended up with a new Alabama state record bluefish of 17 pounds, 8 ounces. A fine gator even by New Jersey, Delaware Bay standards, but it's not close to a record here. 17.5-pound bluefish will get you some kudos, but it doesn't get you a record. So while teen-sized bluefish are more of a regular appearance for those of us in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, not so down in the Gulf of Mexico or Southeast Atlantic. Now, I bring this up because the reports I'm getting from some folks down in Florida are rather surprising. Fanoa Sport Fishing out of Fort Pierce, Florida, that's in between Jupiter and Sebastian Inlet, January 17th noted, been an interesting week, tons and tons of big fish, but the most strange, massive schools of these giant bluefish all over the beach in South Florida. Earlier this year, a friend of mine in Palm Coast, which is between Daytona and Jacksonville, he sent me a photo and said, "What's this?" It was on the beach at Flagler Beach. I said, "Sure looks like tailing bluefish to me." Now, with all these strange catches of bluefish down in the Gulf of Mexico and the South Atlantic, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that 2024 is going to be an outstanding bluefish season for those of us in the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region. Now, I look at the historic records in some of the old books. Bluefish by, boy, I can't remember his name. John Geiser's old book, McLean's Encyclopedia. Bluefish, going back to colonial times, have been a cyclical fish. So I don't think that we overfish them to the point where they're not around. I just think they're deeper offshore. You could talk to some of the guys who are dragging the Sterling wide trackers around and getting inundated with bluefish on the bluefin grounds. But I think these bluefish have been out in the open ocean, maybe overseas, but I believe this Gulf and Southeast surprise may put bluefish back in our waters locally this season. So mark it down. The bluefish invasion in New Jersey in the inlets this year will happen during the week of April 22nd. You see, Tuesday, April 23rd is the full moon, and I think that's when we're really going to get that first big invasion of racer blues through the inlets. Perhaps around that moon in April, if not, well, a lot of times it's May when we get that cinder worm hatch. It all depends on your local area of water. I've had the cinder worm hatch on the full moon in late April in the past, where you have school stripers piling on those cinder worms. That's when we get the tide runner bluefish reports in New Jersey, mid to late April. The herring are in, the herring gulls, the laughing gulls are back, the ospreys are back on their nest. That's pretty much what I'm thinking in terms of where we're looking down the line. So we break it down. March 1st opens our back bay striper season in the state of New Jersey. Mostly bloodworms along the bay shore, right? Although up here on the Raritan, by the time of the Saltwater Fishing Expo, I know I'm getting good reports, guys throwing NLBNs, small X-Raps, the SP minnows, or the tsunami swim shads right around this area. Bloodworms will get the job done from day one. A lot of smaller fish, some keeper slots in the mix. But by the middle to end of March, that's when the jumbos start arriving in mass, especially up here. I'm in Edison, don't forget. Raritan Bay, gangbusters the last couple of seasons. April madness kicks in. It sets up along the Delaware River. Guys all up and down the Delaware start catching and releasing those jumbos by April. Bloods on the Delaware Bay shore all month. It's gliders, metal lips, NLBNs, poppers, mid-surface swimmers. It's all over Raritan Bay by the middle of April. And again, like I said, we've got the weak fish return at that point. April 6th is the start of the New Jersey trout season. I believe April 6th is also the start of the Pennsylvania trout season as well. Now, in terms of what we've got, 15 days from now, March 1st, and through April, everything breaks wide open. Don't forget to register to fish the marine waters of New Jersey. It's the law, but it's free. You can go to saltwaterregistry.nj.gov. That link is still up, but on the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to have to hit the register button. That's going to take you through a brand new process that we have talked about it in the last month or so. It's also written up in the Fisherman magazine, I would add, because the new process now bundles everything. Your freshwater license, your trout stamp, your clamming license, your hunting license, whatever you need, it's all one-stop shopping right now. Now, some folks have been put off by the concept of having to put in their social security number or answer the child support question, but that's part of state law. In fact, it was about 15, maybe 20 years ago, the anti-hunting and anti-fishing interest in the state of New Jersey said if the state of New Jersey is going to issue a permit and you have to qualify for child support, then you got to get the hunters and fishermen doing the same thing. They were successful. But now the saltwater registry is in that system as well. Again, I mentioned it. The February edition has the full explanation that I picked up from the Division of Fish and Wildlife and the last New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council meeting. It's all described in detail in that February edition. You can get your free copy here in Edison, get a free copy in Oaks, get a free copy on Saturday at Lincroft. By the way, next couple of weeks, we should know more about fluke, porgy, and sea bass regulations for 2024. This week, the fisheries managers at the regional and federal level are looking up New Jersey's options to meet the mandated cutbacks. That's supposed to be back, I would think, sometime next week. The advisors will meet. Bottom line, I mentioned the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council. The next meeting is Thursday, March 7th in Stafford Township. If you have an opinion on when you would like the fluke season to open up, what size limit you want, take the day, take a half a day, be there. Democracy is not a spectator sport. We have a busy weekend. I hope you'll enjoy it as well. Come and see us here at the New Jersey Boat Sale and Expo in Edison, Thursday through Sunday, at the Philadelphia Fishing Show in Oaks, Pennsylvania, Friday through Sunday, or stop by and see Jenny on Saturday in Lincroft. That is Surf Day. Hopefully, we'll be talking more about fishing next week, but I'll remind you, the countdown to striped bass and winter flounder will continue next week, and we are getting close to go time. Catch them up. See you again next week, right here at thefisherman.com.